So this is going to be a little bit different. We hope to take you on a little bit of a journey of our camping story, where we come from, what we love about camping, where we go, why we do it. Some of you out there may be campers already, and some of you may be thinking about camping. And I think it's really nice to hear stories from other campers and know each other's journey, because everyone's journey is different. And you don't have to be a seasoned family of campers to know how to camp. You can start from scratch, just as we did. Jason and I are first generation campers. What do I mean by that is neither of our families had ever camped prior to us. We have no knowledge prior to our first camp or guidance based on what we need. We figured it out for ourselves and learned from fellow campers at the various campsites throughout our journey. This also means that we've had quite a few mishaps. We call them adventures. Some of them you can see on our channel. And in these mishaps, we've had floods and rolling cars and storms, from sand to rain to wind. And instead of deterring us from going camping, they've only made us love it more, because these are the stories of our lives. So we started camping almost 20 years ago. And the reason we started is because it was an inexpensive way for us to travel. Having a young family meant that we could camp for 300 Rand a site or less in some instances per night. And that meant that we could go away a little bit more often than if we had to stay in a chalet. We started with the bare essentials: a gas canister, a stovetop cookertop, battery-operated lights, and a K-way tent. We remember that first experience vividly, because for a first time, not only did we get lost on the way there, but it rained the whole night, and the three of us were sleeping in this tiny little 3-man tent, which, thank heavens, K-way has got very, very good water insulation. We never got wet at all. As with many campers, we still have our original tents and have actually had them fixed over the years, but they've lasted us right through Kruger. We've been at a scorching 50 degrees in summer in Kruger in those tents, and we've also been at -3 in those tents, so they've stood well. The bottom line with camping is you don't actually need much. You just need to have your food ready, and all the rest is luxury or comfort. Our family is from Cape Town, which means we have spent the majority of our camping years in the Cederberg and on the Breda River, which we absolutely love. We are avid fishermen, you can call us, and our kids love it. They've grown up with a fishing rod in their hands. We have caught everything that is available to be caught in the Breda River, and we've had loads of fun and memories from it. The Cederberg is amazing, and even though it's very, very cold in winter, it is incredibly beautiful. So we've camped there many times from winter into spring, absolutely loving the flowers and the caves and the hikes. We have, however, spent the majority of our time camping in the sanparks, national parks, which we have come to absolutely love. We've been to, I would think, most of the parks around South Africa, except those in the far north of South Africa. But sanparks has always had good service, and they've always been very helpful and easy to book and easy to change over the years. So we'll continue to enjoy the sanparks reserves no matter where they are. One thing about camping is you learn to appreciate your car a lot more than you think you would. We've rolled one of our cars in Namibia on one of our trips, but basically we've been through 4 cars that have traveled with us camping. The first one we ever did or used was our little Runex, so you don't need a big fancy car. And we followed that up with an old Nissan X-Trail. From there we got the new Nissan X-Trail. And now we have a more reliable car that we've wanted for a long time, which is the Toyota Fortuner 4x4. Camping may start out being a very cheap holiday, but the more you get invested in it, you realize quite quickly that it can become quite a pricey hobby and adventure, because the 4x4s for the more difficult campsites and the more interesting and beautiful reserves become essential, as well as your equipment needs to be more sound and more reliable. We started camping in tents, which is fine for a smaller car and SUV, but as we got our trailer in 2018, we realized that we needed a stronger car that can tow a trailer easily and without any difficulty, especially in the bush or desert. And that took us to the Fortuna. You obviously don't need a 4x4 trailer to camp. However, I must say that it really changed our entire perspective of camping. It really became quite a comfortable, luxurious way for us to travel, comparing it with our tents. We haven't actually modified our trailer nor our vehicle since we've had them, and over time we hope to still add modifications and upgrade our tent. On the trailer, the car, there's always things to do with cars. The overlanding vehicles you see online are gorgeous, but they come at one hell of a price. So, it takes a long time to build up and appreciate all those little add-ons and mod-cons that people put on their cars, most of which are actually not needed. We were very lucky to buy our trailer from friends of ours who upgraded to a bush larper. It really made traveling so much more comfortable for us and the kids. And one of the big advantages of having a trailer is that you can leave a lot of essential things in there, which means when you go camping, you don't have to unpack and repack a lot of the basic utensils and camping equipment. It's all already in and sorted out for you. The only thing we really have to pack every trip is perishables and food and water. We also have different setups for when we go to the river, for instance, and when we go to the bush. Not everybody likes to tow. However, when you have children, I think it's a really great and almost essential way to travel. Having tents on the ground is perfectly fine, but if you want to go into the bush, tents on the ground can be quite uncomfortable and hard, and we've done that. We've done it in the Kruger in a tent and a blow-up mattress, but it made for a very difficult trip. And now looking back, I'm glad we did it. We learned so much from it, but it's not easy, and we did it with babies, and I know a lot of people are even too scared to travel with babies, but our kids have traveled since they were born, and we're quite grateful that they've become very used to roughing it up. For them, a chalet is the ultimate luxury. I don't even think they know what a hotel looks like. Over the last 15 to 20 years, we have always, or most often, camped alone with our kids. We do have friends that camp, but seldom do we have them with us on one of our trips or nearby because of times and places and availability. We tend to often go away on our own. So one of the big advantages of camping is that even though you may go away alone, you never really are alone. Obviously, it depends on where you camp, but in most campsites, you have fellow campers, neighbors, and by nature, they tend to be incredibly friendly, wonderful people. We have yet to have a bad experience camping with neighbors, and our kids have always loved meeting new friends from all over the country and generally have an absolute blast. So if you are considering camping for the first time, I really, really encourage you to give it a try. You don't need much. It teaches you in life how little you actually need and how amazing it is to be out there. We are so lucky to be living in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and we just got it on our doorstep. I just feel like taking advantage of Africa's incredible beauty is essential, and if you live here, you should travel here. If you don't, you really just don't know what you're missing out. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, and don't be afraid of things not always being perfect every time. That becomes your next campfire story. Don't wait for your kids to get older. We have had so many experiences with our children that we will hold on to forever. Memories that can never be taken from us. As much as we hope that you enjoy watching our adventures, I can tell you that there is no way it can be as much as we've had making those adventures. So go out there and make your own. You will never regret it.